It's a political brown kid here, and this is what I want to explain to y'all or really emphasize because I've talked about this several times. I just hope that the message or the word gets out and people understand this. Particularly, I'm talking to my black people throughout the diaspora. When I tell you that the way that you control a people, a nation, or the masses is when you control the government, you control the military, and you control the media. There is a specific reason why governments such as North Korea try to keep American media out of their country, not to because it will influence and allow American ideology to get into the mindsets of their people, and vice versa. You're not going to have Americans being able to get North Korean information into America. Same thing was done in Cuba. Same with all of your adversaries. If you have an adversary, you don't want their viewpoints tainting your people, whether it's going to have them sympathizing with those others or whether it's going to have you adopting those particular values and mindsets. It's what you do. And when you look in America, and not even just America, but when you look in the Western world, what they're actually doing is destroying black people. And black people are just so stupid that we don't get it until it's too late. We always walk around here, we shout the same rhetoric that we hear other people say, but what black people fail to understand is you're different from every other race on this planet. Number one, from an aesthetics perspective, you're very diverse and you look different from every other people on this planet. And but also too from an experience perspective, they don't have the experience that you have. No other people have been subjugated for hundreds of years like you. No other people have been conditioned to hate themselves the way that you have. No other people on this planet have been colonized the way that you have been had, the way that you have. You look at New Mexico. New Mexico just lost land mass. They just lost geographic territory. They lost what? Arizona, New Mexico, California. But they still have their own country intact. When you look at other countries like Vietnam, they still have their nation. You look at China, they still have their nation, culture, values, languages. Then when you go to Africa, what do you see? Nothing but colonialism. All you see is a bunch of people that speak 45 different languages. They speak 39,000 languages. They speak French. They speak every European language. And then they have their own language too. But for the most part, all you see is a bunch of colonized people that have been, corrupted and have been subjugated for hundreds of years, just like we have been when we were brought to the Americas. What other people don't understand too is the influence of the media when you're talking about the media. People don't really realize that back in the day before the satellite television was occurred, before the internet and before satellite television, every people in America had their own culture. Washington, D.C. had its own culture. New York had its own culture. What I mean by that is you had your own style, the way you dressed, the way you walked, the way you talked. You had your own different style. New York had their own different style. LA had their own different style. You can kind of still see LA has their different style. You can look at Snoop and Ice Cube and you can see they still hold on to that. When you go in DC, you can still see somewhat that they hold on to that. But when you really look around, like you really don't see, now that you have the internet and now that you have satellite television, it's just everyone has a homogenous culture. Everyone wears Versace. Everyone wears this, everyone wears that, everyone uses the same slang, everyone uses the same jargon. It's all because the media has dictated that. The media dictates what you like and what you don't like. People don't fail to understand how the media kind of encourages you to accept certain things. Versace and all of this stuff becoming popular because the media has pushed it so much and so much. And certain people that's in the media, those influencers, that's why they call them influencers, because they influence you to accept certain things. People probably don't even really remember this. When you go to the movies, the first thing that they're going to show you when you sit down in that movie theater is they're going to just show you a white screen and it's going to have some popcorn and a soda on that screen and maybe some candy. And then the screen will flash that for about 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds, and then it'll go away. And then they're going to flash something else. And then the first thing you're going to do is be like, man, I need some food to watch this. People don't realize that they show you stuff and it's to trigger you. It's to get embedded into your brain. So where I'm going with this is this. When you're watching television and you watch all of these commercials, what is the thing that you're going to see? You're going to see NyQuil has a commercial. And I'm not lying. I'm just going to rattle off the few that I know off my head. When you watch a NyQuil commercial, all you see is a light-skinned black lady laying in the bed, sniffling. And then some white man laying behind her creeps up like he wants some. And he like, honey. And she's like, honey, because she's sick. And she's like, not now. I can't give you the black sugar right now. And so then she takes her NyQuil and she feels better. But they're showing you a black woman, pretty black woman with a white man. When you look at billboard pictures, they're always showing you a black woman with a white man. When you watch television movies, all you see are black women with white men. And they're normally the attractive black women. They'll always show you a black woman and she's either voluptuous or she's very athletically built. Regardless, she has a favorable shape, favorable figure, favorable face. She's with the white man. When you see these black movies, they're not going to show you that true love with black people. They're going to show you some old black people. They may show you Aunt Viv and Uncle Phil. And not to say that they're not attractive people, but they're old. And a lot of young people aren't going to consider them attractive. They're not sex symbols. The only probably one that you can look back on and say, yeah, she was fine was Phylicia Rashad when she was on television. You know? But when you watch movies, like when you watch the movie, and I've said this before, when you go watch all of these white movies that are about ancient white civilizations. When you watch the movie 300, all you see is a bunch of beautiful people on the screen, handsome, pretty, whatever you want to call it. You just got men with painted on abs. And they got these elegant time periods. They always show you Greece and Rome, and all of the people are beautiful, and all of that society is elegant. They're drinking out of gold and silver and glass. And when they show you something of Africa, it's always some jokers in a hut. They never show you Timbuktu used to be the trading palace of its time. They're always, and what people try to deny that Egyptians were black. The Egyptian society was a black society. And they'll tell you they want to deny you that. I've already told y'all, if some aliens came down to America right now, and then they had to go back to whatever galaxy they were from and give a report on the original Americans and what Americans are, they would tell you it's a bunch of white people. They would say Americans are white people. The North American continent, which includes the United States and Canada, it's a predominantly white society built by white. And they would totally discount indigenous Americans being here. So what do you think Egypt was? Egypt was it was a black society, but it was the trading center of its time. Herodotus even told y'all that. I hope I'm saying that joker's name right. And he gave an eyewitness account. And he's from Greece. He traveled there and said that these are black people. But what I'm trying to tell you is this: when you watch television, when I think Will and Jada created that documentary on Cleopatra, you immediately saw pushback from from Egypt, talking about Afrocentrism and trying to blackwash history, and they'll immediately try to shut down and denounce anything trying to make Egyptians a black society. Kevin Hart can't even go to Egypt anymore, I don't believe, because he's been banned because he claimed it was a black society. You don't hear anyone talking about Jesus continually being portrayed as a white person. But I'm saying all that to say this. When they continually show you black women like Halle Berry wanting Billy Bob Thornton to make her feel good and getting pounded by a white man. When they showed you people like Niecy Nash, when she had claws, the very first scene when claws came on, if you watch season 1, episode 1, the very first scene is her getting pounded, bent over a desk, getting pounded ghetto gagger style by a white boy. None of these women are with black men, and that's what they want to push. And now what have you seen? This has been going on for years, and now what you're seeing is all of this stuff that you see in movies has now come down into mainstream society. Now all you hear are black women on YouTube and on TikTok, particularly talking about why I don't date black men, why I can't be with a black man, and I want me a white man, and I'm exclusively dating white men. Go on dating apps. There now you got a big push of black women saying, I exclusively want a white man, or I'm looking for a white man. I'm not making this up. This is because your mindset has been conditioned. If they had shown you a lot of black love on television and they show you this stuff, you wouldn't buy, you would have a different mindset. But you are, just like how they say you are what you eat, your mind is what it eats. And your mind is eating this stuff that it sees on television. It's seeing the quick the quick 10-second commercial of black women with white men. They're seeing the billboards of black women huddled up with white men. They're seeing the movies of black women with white men. All of this stuff is in the media. Black women, white men, black women, white men. And that's all they're seeing. So that's all women are saying is that, well, in order for me to have a great life, I got to get me a white man. And this is how the media controls you. What we need to do, and this falls on the heads of people like Tyler Perry, it falls on the head of people like Oprah Winfrey, and all of these people that I'm naming are coons, so they'll never do it. This falls on the head of Lee Daniels. This falls on the head of every black person that has power in the media to say we need to start showing black love. We need to create black love movies. You watch them like white people will show you black love. I told y'all, white love. I told you, you watch Miracle on, what is it? Not a miracle. I forget that name of that movie, but a movie where the guy back in the, I was just talking to someone about it. It's the old Christmas movie where the guy, he's deaf in one ear and he wished he was never born. And so they show him what his life would have been like had he never been born. In that black and white movie, it was little white girls. They were probably about 8 and 9 years of age in love with little white boys. And they showed you that little white love. You watch the movie It with the killer clown. You got the white girl and 2 white boys are definitely trying to put their bid in to get her. You watch the movie My Girl with Macaulay Culkin. They're showing you this. It's not really like a love story between those two, but they're showing you the bonding between this white girl and this white boy hanging out. When do you see that in black movies? They don't even show you. Matter of fact, like I told y'all, Netflix is the biggest racist network out there. They promote bedwenching. They had a show on Netflix called See You Yesterday. It's with a young black girl. She built this time machine, or she got a hold of the time machine. I think she built it. And she's continually traveling back to try to recreate or to change something that happened in the past. Hanging out with 2 black boys, or 1 black boy. He has 0 interest in her. She has 0 interest in him. But yet this young little Mexican boy is putting his bid in hard at this little girl. I don't make this stuff up. So people wonder why black people don't love one another. It's because you're not pushing anything in the media to promote it. When have you seen Halle Berry and Tandy Newton and Carmody Jogo advocate to say, where's my black male counterpart lead that can play my love interest? I want to star in more black love shows. You don't see it. When has Zendaya done it? She did 1 movie with Denzel Washington's son and they argued the whole time. They had sex once, but the whole movie is about arguing. They don't want to see it and they don't want to do it. Black people are followers. We're allowing these people to destroy us as a people, and they're destroying us through the media. Get it together, people. I'm out.